Welcome back, my name is Sam, and today we need to talk about what is happening behind the scenes at Ferrari. Because while everyone was focused on Lewis Hamilton winning in Barcelona, something much bigger was quietly confirmed in the paddock. Ferrari is bringing a massive engine upgrade to the Austrian Grand Prix, and this is not just a normal update. This is the start of an aggressive, FIA-approved development strategy that could completely flip the championship battle. So, in this video, I am going to break down exactly what Ferrari is bringing to the Red Bull ring, what the ADUO system actually means for them, and why I think this could be the moment the championship picture changes completely. Not just for the rest of this year, but potentially for the next few seasons as well. For the last few weeks, the entire Formula One world has been talking about aerodynamics. We have been talking about front wings, floor edges, and suspension setups. But the reality of the 2026 regulations is that the power unit is more important than it has been in years. The new 50-50 split between electrical power and the internal combustion engine has created a massive challenge for the manufacturers. And right now, Ferrari is losing that battle, but they have a plan to fix it. And that plan starts this weekend in Austria. To understand why this is happening, we have to talk about the ADUO system. ADUO stands for Additional Development and Upgrade Opportunities. It is a new rule for the 2026 season designed to stop one engine manufacturer from running away with the championship like Mercedes did in 2014. The FIA secretly measures the performance of every engine on the grid using a complex performance index. They look at input shaft torque, engine speed, electrical deployment, and how all of that translates to lap time. It is not just about peak horsepower, it is about how the power is delivered over an entire lap. If your engine is more than 2% behind the best engine on the grid, the FIA steps in. They give you extra upgrade tokens and extra budget under the cost cap to help you catch up. It is essentially a catch-up mechanism built directly into the rules. The goal is to keep the field close and prevent a situation where one team dominates simply because they nailed the engine regulations on day one. The results of the first ADUO check just leaked. Red Bull, building their own engine for the very first time in partnership with Ford, has the best power unit on the grid. They are the benchmark. And because they are the benchmark, they are penalized by the system. They are not allowed to bring any performance upgrades to their engine this year. They are stuck with what they have. Mercedes, despite all their reliability issues and Toto Wolff's complaints, actually has a very strong engine. The FIA measured them at about 2% behind Red Bull. Because they fall into that 2 to 4% bracket, Mercedes gets one upgrade token this year and one next year. But Ferrari is in a completely different boat. The FIA measurements put Ferrari between 4 and 6% behind Red Bull. That is a significant deficit in modern Formula One. But because they are that far back, the FIA has granted them 2 engine upgrades this season and 2 more next season. Plus, they get an extra $4.65 million added to their cost cap specifically for engine development. This explains why Ferrari was initially so angry about the new engine rules when they were first announced. They knew they were behind, but it also explains why they are now in a very powerful position. Think about it. They have a chassis that is already good enough to win races, as we saw with Lewis Hamilton in Spain. Their aerodynamic concept is working. Their tyre degradation is under control. The only thing holding them back is pure grunt. And now they have the regulatory freedom to aggressively upgrade their engine, while Red Bull has to stand completely still. It is a massive opportunity, and that brings us to Austria. Ferrari is not waiting around. They are introducing their first ADUO upgrade at the Red Bull ring, which is the perfect place to test an engine. Austria is a power track. It is high altitude, which starves the engine of oxygen, and it has 3 long straights where electrical deployment is critical. If your engine is weak, Austria will expose it immediately. Ferrari's upgrade is based on a completely different philosophy than anyone else on the grid. Right now, most teams try to cool the air going into the engine as much as possible. Cold air is dense air, and dense air makes more power. Most teams try to get the intake air down to around 60 to 80 degrees Celsius. Ferrari does the exact opposite. They run a hot engine. Their engine block is made of a special steel alloy instead of the traditional aluminum. This makes the engine slightly heavier, but it means the block can handle extreme pressure and extreme heat without warping or failing. Because of this, Ferrari lets the air go into the engine around 100 degrees Celsius. For the Austria upgrade, Ferrari is pushing that heat philosophy even further. They are letting the intake air reach up to 115 degrees Celsius. That is incredibly hot. But because the steel alloy engine can handle that heat, Ferrari does not need a massive cooling system to bring the temperature down. In fact, their intercooler is already the smallest on the grid. If you look at the side pods of the Ferrari compared to the Red Bull, the difference is staggering. The Ferrari intercooler is less than half the size of the one Red Bull uses. By making the cooling system even smaller for Austria, Ferrari gets a massive aerodynamic advantage. Less cooling means they can shrink the side pods even more. Tighter bodywork means less drag. Less drag means more straight line speed. So they are not just gaining power from the engine itself, they are gaining aerodynamic efficiency because the engine requires less cooling. The goal for this first upgrade in Austria is to gain around 15 horsepower and cut their deficit to Red Bull in half. But this is only step one. Because Ferrari has 2 upgrade tokens this year, they are planning a second major engine update for their home race at Monza in September. Monza is the ultimate power track, the temple of speed. It is the perfect place to unleash a fully upgraded power unit. The target for Ferrari is to find a total of 30 horsepower across these 2 upgrades, 15 in Austria and another 15 in Monza. If they achieve that, they will not just catch Red Bull and Mercedes, they might actually pass them. They could go from having the 3rd best engine on the grid to having the absolute best engine on the grid, all within a single season. This is a massive risk, of course. Running an engine that hot makes reliability a huge question mark. We have already seen Mercedes struggle with reliability this year, with George Russell retiring in Canada and Kimi Antonelli retiring in Spain. If Ferrari pushes their engine too far, they could face the exact same issues. Running at 115 degrees Celsius puts immense stress on every single component. It might work fine in the cool air of Silverstone or Spa, but what happens when we get to high-altitude tracks like Mexico, where the air is thin and cooling is already a nightmare? What happens in the extreme heat and humidity of Singapore? But Ferrari engine chief Enrico Gualtieri has clearly decided that playing it safe will not win them a world championship. They have to take risks. They have to push the boundaries of what the materials can handle. Think about what this means for the rest of the season. Lewis Hamilton just won the Spanish Grand Prix. He beat Mercedes, he beat Red Bull, and he did it with an engine that the FIA officially says is 4 to 6% worse than the benchmark. He won on pure chassis performance and tyre management. Now imagine giving that same car an extra 15 horsepower this weekend, and then imagine giving it another 15 horsepower in September. If Ferrari actually delivers on these upgrades, while Red Bull is not allowed to touch their engine at all, the entire balance of power in Formula 1 shifts. Mercedes only gets 1 upgrade. Red Bull gets 0. Ferrari gets 2. The Austrian Grand Prix is going to be the first real test of whether Ferrari's hot engine philosophy actually works in the real world. If the engine holds together, and if the speed trap numbers show a significant jump, the rest of the paddock is going to be very worried. We might be looking at a very different championship fight in the second half of the year. What do you think about the ADUO system? Is it fair that teams get extra upgrades to catch up, or should Formula 1 just let the best engine win? Let me know in the comments below. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more F1 content. I am Sam, and I will see you in the next one.